Okay, I'm here, and it's me again. I am Luis. Thank you so much for being here. Today, I'm going to talk about permanent residency. Well, this topic would be, give me a second. I don't know what happened. Got it. Perfect. Well, again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Well, this is the topic today for permanent residency. And that's very interesting. But some people would like to apply for permanent residency because, you know, people try to avoid and pay each renew for temporary residency. And permanent residency, that is the biggest benefit, is the biggest difference between temporary residency because you don't need to renew, and more because you have more benefits that I'm going to explain you in this live. Well, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Luis Chable, and soy Luis Shah. This is the name of my channel, and I am immigration facilitator, and I work in a firm law who, well, we have different specialties, but immigration service is other specialty. Yes, however, each information who I give you in this live is related to my workmate who give me the information. In my case, well, trying to show you what is the specific step that you need to follow if you want to get your temporary residency or permanent residency without a lot stress, yes, a lot varies in your immigration procedure. I'm going to show you the topic, permanent residency. Okay, perfect. Well, what is the most important point here? Before continuing to explain this topic, I would like to share important information to you. Maybe you noticed that, but English is not my mother language. I speak Spanish. English is my second language. I work a lot to improve this language, but that point mm, don't limit myself to share with you and this topic, okay, about Mexican migration, because I know something. A lot of people who they don't have that opportunity to speak my language, they have a lot challenge in make these kinds of procedures, okay? Because there are certain, Instituto Nacional de Migración, INM, or Mexican Consulate, who they sometimes they don't speak with you in English because our official language is Spanish, okay? There are certain consulate who let you to speak in your language or in English. That is very interesting for those kinds of people who have that opportunity, but it's not. Well, that is my objective. Try to help you and give all the information. Okay, I'm going to be the more clear with you. I'm going to do the best. I'm going to use my knowledge in English about this topic. Okay, that is my intention, helping you in this language. Because believe me, it's true. Sometimes you are able to understand Spanish, but you are not able to speak. I understand that it's not easy to speak a foreign language. But the point is, this information, if you want to live here in my country legal, if you want to live in my country for longer time, These kinds of information who I give you in YouTube life, believe me, help you a lot. Okay, well, before finish this conclusion, I'm going to start about the topic, permanent residency. Um, yeah, what we will cover in this life. In this life, I'm going to talk about what is permanent residency, a step-by-step process, the nuanced path, and benefits of permanent residency. Okay, you need to understand something. Permanent residency, if you want to apply outside to my country, the most important here is follow these steps who I give you in this moment. But the most important is you can apply for permanent residency inside my country, but you need to fall into certain conditions. Okay, all those kinds of information I going to share with you. Mm, give me a second. What's a permanent residency in Mexico? You, according the Mexican immigration law, this book who I recommend you in my beginner YouTube life, who is in English, you are able to buy this book on Amazon. And according to Mexican immigration law, in the article, mm, give me a second, 52, the chapter 2 of the stay of foreigners in the national territory. In the fraction number 9, talk about permanent residency. Permanent residency, according to Mexican migration, says authorizes the foreigners to remain in the national territory indefinitely, with permission to work in exchange for remuneration in the country. Okay, permanent residency have a lot benefits. One, the biggest benefits, who I told you in the beginner in this life, is you avoid to pay each renewal 1 year or 3 years, depend your condition, depend your circumstance, because there are foreign people who maybe they don't have that opportunity to renew for 3 years, but each year, um, if 1 year they renew their temporary residency, and they need to pay an fees, yes, for renew that. In permanent residency, you save that income. Yes, you save your money. And the most important is you don't need to make certain procedures. For example, the permit work. You don't need to do that because you fall into permanent residency. You don't need to notificate to Instituto Nacional de Migración about your new work. Yes, the most important here, you need to notificate to INM, Instituto Nacional de Migración, about you change about location, you change your status, about you get married, or you change your name, or you've changed your nationality. I don't know. Those kinds of information you need to know this to Instituto Nacional de Migración, okay? But you don't need to pay for a permit to work. You don't need to give job job, offer job, sorry, for provide that you have how to say that You have something who another Mexican company give you that opportunity to work. Yes, you don't need to notify that because permanent residency have that privilege. But you need to understand something. If you want to apply for permanent residency outside to my country, certain Mexican consulate they have this rule only for retired people. Yes, because retired people they are those kinds of people who have that possibility to fall in the rule about higher economic solvency. Okay, because the Mexican government noticed that according foreign people, Mexican consulate follow that. If you are retired, you have more opportunity to get a permanent residency, but you prove a higher economic solvency. Permanent residency outside to my country, honestly, to be honest with you, is not easy. Can you have higher economic solvency? You have that opportunity, yes. But sometimes Mexican consulate is more convenient for them to start with temporary residency because it's this some business sometimes. it will and you need to understand that, okay? But Mexican consulate revise by more detail for more detail. You comply to all the documents, all about each month for economic solvency. Okay, I'm going to explain you more in the next page. But before I explain that, when you apply in Mexican consulate outside to my country, you need to follow these steps. These steps. The first is okay, locate your Mexican consulate and check the requirements. In my beginners due to life, I told you each Mexican consulate they have their own rules. If you reach out in different YouTube channel, maybe this sentence is very familiar. Each Mexican consulate have their own rules, and and you need to follow those rules. In my beginner due to life, I told you the first step here you want to do this procedure alone. Okay, you need to open your time and know your consulate who is close to you. Okay, you need to know what is the people. You need to know what is the requirement. You need to know what is the economic solvency do. Then they comply or they required to apply for any residency. And you need to know a lot about that Mexican consulate because another point is when you know your Mexican consulate and you know what is the common schedule and appointment because there are certain Mexican consulate who then they have um, different method. For example, you are able to make your appointment in email or in person or in WhatsApp. Yes, but it's not all the Mexican consulate follow the same rule. You need to know that. Okay, that is my point. But if you want to avoid all those information, I recommend you hire someone who support you in that weakness, yes, about information about that Mexican consulate. But if you want to do that alone, perfect. My advice with you is trying to know your Mexican consulate. After about the appointment, and you need to know the submit requiring documents. I'm going to explain you those documents more later. And after, you need to attend an interview and pay the corresponding fees. In the interview, is apart the documents, of course, is the most important scenario for you, okay? Because you need to be careful about your answers, about your yes, about your answer, but the question for the consulate staff, yes, those people who ask you certain information, you need to give the related, accurate information. Always, those questions is about your documents, okay? And you need to study your documents. You need to study and certain. Imagine that is when you're trying to apply for a visa, and you are a visa who in another country require. Yes, okay. You need to know what is the common questions who those consulate make. In this case, it's the same. In the interview, and they create with you certain questions, and you need to be careful about your answer. However, I told you, here you want to do along this procedure, trying to follow in a lot of information about it. Well, when you pass the required documents and the interview, you everything is okay. And if the Mexican consulate approved your your Mexican visa is common in your passport, like say that this, and receive a visa sticker in your passport. When you have the Mexican visa in your passport, you finish the first, in immigration procedure. Okay, the first because it's missing the second step. What is the second step? Okay, arrive or come to my country and trying to give other information, other documents to Instituto Nacional de Migración. Okay, now when you get your Mexican visa, if that Mexican visa is a sticker on your passport, you congratulations, you pass this first step in Mexican consulate. More, if you apply for permanent residency, you get a Mexican visa by permanent residency in your passport. Congratulations. Okay. Well, what is the required documents? The most important is you need to prove yourself. Yes, your passport, and if you are in other country, who in that country, sorry, you are in another country. That country is not your. I don't know where you born. You need to provide that you are legal in that country. Okay, you need to provide yourself. You need to prove yourself in the Mexican consulate about your passport. Okay, you are in another country outside to home country. You need to provide that you are legal in that um, in that country. Um, the second document is no how to say that Mexican consulate doesn't obligate you to bring this option photograph because right now the technology is in advance and certain Mexican consulate have those machines to take you your picture in your face about those kinds of requirements. But well, my advice with you, can you bring that? It's no make this document. You don't waste your time. Okay? Why I said that? Because, for example, guys, you need to understand something. The PM, the consulate staff who give you that service, sometimes when they try to affect your procedure, when you don't have all the documents, they reject you your procedure about you get any residency. Okay? It's no plus bring your photograph for everything. I don't know. It's my advice, it's my recommendation to you. Bring that. In the moment the Mexican consulate say you, I don't know, Steve, Lisette, I don't know, those photograph is not necessary because I'm going to take you a picture. Perfect. And it doesn't matter. And bring that document because that document is not un plus. It's for everything. It's unrequired, and you need to follow the requires about the Mexican consulate. Well, the next document is the payment of the fee for the issuance of the visa. Sometimes the Mexican consulate give, and you need to pay, and you need to save that document while finish your procedure. Okay, sometimes that finish is in the same day. Sometimes it's in 1 week or 15 days or 30 days. I don't know. All depend about the Mexican consulate. While you need to save that document, okay? They have, you need to give those documents because the most important is if you follow the rules, you have most possibilities to get your residency. But apart about these documents, you need to fall into these categories who get the permanent residency. Give me a second. They are the three categories that you fall if you want to get a permanent residency. The first, I told you, economic solvency. The second is family unit. And the three is temporary residency upgrade. Economic solvency, and maybe this one is more common when you apply outside to my country. Yes, family unit, temporary residency upgrade is more inside. Yes, you can apply for family unit outside to my country, but to be honest with you, if you apply outside to my country, permanent residency for family unit, you need to know something. There are certain Mexican consulate who they need that you prove solvency for yourself. Here you are a spouse, or here you are the husband. Okay, and you need to prove it. Oh, I'm going to explain more every category in the next page. Economic solvency. In my first life, um, I explained with you about solvency, okay? In temporary residency and in this case, permanent residency. I use this city, San Diego, California, about icons. Those icons is update 2025, but is approximately because depend a lot. It's better you ask if you live in San Diego and you want to apply for permanent residency. And my advice with you is ask first. If you prove that it's the same income or saving, perfect. But but maybe you are thinking, okay, Luis, and then you why you show those numbers? Okay, those numbers is because I told you in my second life in in um, those numbers depend on the wage of my country. Okay, each year that number change, raise, yes, each year. But in addition, sometimes change apart, okay, because every year raise, but another situation who change the numbers, it's about the exchange rate. Yes, it's for that it's important for me and tell you this information. First, proof what is the approximately or what is the absolutely econ that they need in econ or saving. Okay? Well, I hope you follow my point about this scenario. But in econ, you need to prove um, this amount for 6 months. Yes, in saving is in 1 year. But what is the point? How you prove those solvency? You prove it with your bank statements. Okay, guns saving. But a lot foreign people thinking, okay, I request my bank statement via email to my bank or financial company. That company or that bank send me my bank statement. Well, I use that document for proof my econs. Yes, but you need to understand something. Bank statements without bring an official letter who prove that you are the owner about that bank statement. No matter what that bank statement says your name, you need to bring an official letter who prove that you are the owner about that bank statement. But apart the official letter, because it's a second document, that official letter need to appear and signature or stamp. Both or one about those options. Signature or stamp or both. Again, if you only bring your bank statement without your official letter, believe me, you have that guarantee that the Mexican consulate reject your permanent residency. Okay? Because if you don't bring your official letter, no matter what, if that bank statement says your name and certain information about you, if that bank statement you don't bring the official letter about your bank or a financial company in signature or stamp who proof that you are the owner in about that bank statement. Mexican consulate have that faculty to reject your permanent residency. Okay? Well, you know that in this moment. Well, family unit. You apply outside to my country and you need to show those documents who I share with you in my screen. Those all documents, all those documents, sorry, you need to post it and translate. If that document is different to my official language, sorry. But the most important is you need to post it. Why? I told you before in the beginner, if you apply outside to my country, you need to read the sentence who is in black. The second sentence. Sometimes financial solvency is needed if the applicant is not a minor or dependent. You read well. You apply outside to my country and you don't fall into being a minor or dependent, you need to prove solvency. Okay? For example, the first point, if applying as the spouse of a Mexican citizen or resident. Okay, that spouse need to prove solvency. The solvency is average, I'm going to say you in USD, is between 800 to 1000 USD. Okay, you need to prove it. But my recommendation for you, if you have that opportunity, if you have someone who is resident, permanent resident, or temporary residency, and you prove that you have a link with that person in documents like this, my advice with you or my recommendation is come to Mexico and apply this procedure inside my country because inside my country you don't need to prove solvency. You are you don't fall into those options, yes, in minor or dependent. But sometimes it's not easy because when you are minor or dependent, the person who is permanent or the person who is Mexican, eh, they want to apply or they would you like to apply this option to family unit, that person need to go there when you are in make this procedure with you together or that person and they want to go there and you need to give other kinds of documents to prove that that person have that authorization to make that procedure with you. But it's not easy, honestly. However, my advice with you, you have that link to other person who is resident, permanent resident, it's better for you come to my country. Okay? But come to my country or before come to my country, please apostille your documents. No matter what, you don't have that opportunity to translate that document in my own language, okay? But the most important is try to apostille those documents because here in my country you can hire an official translator who translate that document in Spanish, yes. But if you don't have apostille those documents, my sad message is Instituto Nacional de Migración reject that procedure because apostille it's important in documents, in foreign documents. Okay? So you revise again. For family unit, if you want to apply for permanent residency, you need to show those documents, post it, and translate. In Mexican consulate, I forget this point. In Mexican consulate is obligatory. Apart the post it, translate the document. Okay, they need that. When you come to Mexico, a post it is it's important. Well, inside my country, you are able to translate no matter what. But if you apply in Mexican consulate, in that interview, in your first day to arrive and show up in front of the Mexican consulate, those documents they have the both options: a post it and translate. And well, this is the last category for permanent residency. Is the first point I told you in my second life when I explained about temporary residency. When you complete 4 years as a temporary residency, you have that option to get your permanent residency without proof solvency. That is the biggest benefit when you are temporary resident. Okay. However, if you don't follow, if you don't fall, sorry, if you don't fall into those rules who I explained you before, you don't have that opportunity to apply for permanent residency, okay, you have this option, temporary residency, because temporary residency have that benefit. When you complete 4 years, you become in permanent residency without proof solvency. Because solvency, well, because permanent residency, maybe you noticed that in the beginner in this presentation, you need to prove higher solvency, economic solvency. But, well, complete 4 years, the temporary resident, no, you don't need to prove solvency. Other point is this one. I put this point because it's completely interesting for me sometimes read certain posting or comments in expat group who they sometimes say or they're confused that if you get married to Mexican citizen, you automatically get permanent residency. But the reality is not. Get married with with a Mexican citizen doesn't give you the guarantee become permanent residency. You need to prove, or in this case, who explain in this sentence, when you get married with a Mexican citizen, Instituto Nacional de Migración give you a resident card for 2 years. Okay? If in 2 years subsists that marriage, uh-huh, okay, you get your permanent residency, but you need to prove it. Okay? In my second sentence, say you must prove you have been living together during this time. I broken maybe a mito for foreign people who say no. get married with a Mexican people. You get quickly your permanent residency, get married. But no, the reality is no. 2 years, after 2 years, the marriage is subsists, you get your permanent residency. Okay, the next point is for family unit. Imagine that in that marriage, maybe in the 1 year you having children, Mexican children, you don't need to wait all the year. You're able to apply for permanent residency in that year when your children is born. Yes, because those children they are Mexican citizens and you have that opportunity to get permanent residency. Yeah. Now, can you get your permanent residency? Mhm. And you have a child who that child is born to other country but is under 18, you can give them permanent residency. Yes, but you need to understand something. Each 4 years, you need to renew. They have permanent residency, it's true, but each year, you need to bring the child in Instituto Nacional de Migración for renewal their card. You don't need to pay, only you need to renew that because you know this. The children's during the time change their face, okay? Well, is the condition. Each 4 years, you need to bring your son or your children's um, to immigration, Instituto Nacional de Migración, and renew your resident card. They have permanent residency, okay? Don't confuse that. They have permanent residency. You don't need to pay nothing. Only you need to renew that because the face change, okay? Well, the first point, maybe you understand that point. You have Mexican citizen, Mexican children, they give you permanent residency without wait 2 years. You get married, okay? That marriage, born children, you get permanent residency. Well, this point, um, maybe deals life and it's watching for students who they have temporary residency here in my country. And maybe they have that idea to get permanent residency. In my second life, I told you, well, in this life too, when you complete 4 years, automatically you get permanent residency. Okay, you need to go to Instituto Nacional de Migración and renew to permanent residency. Okay, but in students it's completely different. Temporary resident students and they don't accumulate those years. However, they are not able to apply to permanent residency. My recommendation about the second sentence is after graduating, they must start a new resident application at a Mexican consulate outside of Mexico to qualify, or they need to meet financial requirements or apply through family ties. Or maybe that student have family here in Mexico. I don't know. Maybe during their stay here in my country, born and children, okay, they get a permanent residency. Okay, it's no limit. But if you don't have anything, you don't have family, okay, you need to qualify outside to my country. But maybe this information is sad for you, but they are the rules about Mexican migration. Students, they are not able to apply for permanent residency. A student who they have temporary residency, they can apply for permanent residency. And well, permanent residency benefits. Okay. They for me, these benefits, they are more, they have biggest advantages for people who they are permanent residency because they have that opportunity, like of course, temporary residency, travel freely, enter and live in my country, has money, has possible they want, and they have that right to stay indefinitely. They don't need to worry. Okay, my it's almost expired my temporary residency. I need to renew my temporary residency. But maybe that company they don't give me that guarantee to renew my temporary residency if apply for work. Okay, or maybe I don't have more solvency to renew my temporary residency. I need to pay because you need to understand something. Here you bring your family, you are four person, yes, four person who if they expired their temporary residency, you need to renew each residency. Okay, it's a cost, and biggest cost. However, in permanent residency, you don't worry about it because permanent residency is for longer. You are able to work without work permit. This is a very interesting point for someone who they have temporary residency, but they don't have permission to work in my country. Okay, permanent residency, you don't need to you don't need to make this procedure work permit. Another point is path to citizenship, becoming a Mexican citizen. You have 5 years in my country, and well, only you need to respect certain rules for Secretaría de Relaciones Exteriores. That is other institution who give you the Mexican citizenship or the Mexican passport, and they have their own rules. Yes, and but the first rule is you need to be permanent residency. Can you stay on my country for 5 years consecutive without leave a lot to my country, and you are able to apply for become in Mexican citizen. But you need to understand something apart about that rule. You need to be able to speak Spanish. You need to be able to know my culture, because the more difficult is a scenario when you get a Mexican citizen is pass the exam. Yes, it's difficult for Mexican people too. But well, and that is the benefits. Well, the last benefits I told you without needing to renew, because I know foreign people who is almost expired their temporary residency. Those foreign people have family in their family. They are five or four people who depend for the main residency, and when they need to pay for each renew, for each temporary, okay? It's some cost. And you know the cost is not easy sometimes. Well, permanent residency remove that pressure, remove that worries to pay for each renew about your children, about your wife. Well, perfect. Okay, guys, that's it in this presentation. And honestly, I hope you understand me. I hope this live was clear for you. And I do the best to use my knowledge in English. And don't worry. And I'm going to continue to explain more about those options for residency. And I study a lot in English to be more fluent. We have more vocabulary, but I hope this presentation or this live was usable for you. Okay, I gave you all the information that you need to know if you want to apply for permanent residency. The difference about two other channels is the person only speak. In my case, I'll show you the information. I give you the information, what documents you need. Okay, I show you the step. It's not only speak because you need to see, you need to look the information. You need to look each document that you need. Okay, it's not only see my face. It's not important for me that you see my face. And the most important for you is get the information because the information is more powerful for you. Okay, but well, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for finish this live with me. Um, in my next YouTube live, I'm going to explain you the migration map when you start in the Mexican consulate until you finish get your resident card. Okay, I'm going to explain that immigration map more detail because it's important for me and give that information. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe in this channel. Don't forget to share this information to other person who maybe they need to listen this information. Okay. Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much. Bye bye.